Cloud Defensive upgraded their light switch once again for the REIN. We're going to be going over all the upgrades, good and bad. So Cloud Defensive just updated their light switch for the Cloud Defensive REIN, and that's one thing I really like about Cloud Defensive is they seem to always be listening to the constructive criticism they're given and make improvements. So they were told by a lot of their customer base some things they didn't like about the switches, so they decided to make some improvements, and that is where this comes into play. So we're gonna go over all the details, all the changes. First, I'm gonna give you the details that they gave me of what they changed and what they think that's improved, and then I'll give you my personal thoughts after using this over the last month or so. So this is coming from Cloud Defensive. They said that it's a lower height profile, it's increased switch surface area, easier activation, improved rail lockup, increased waterproofing and impact resisting, improved cable routing and management, and they'll have a single constant on, single momentary, and a dual white light. So that is what they say are the improvements and the changes here with this switch. So what are my thoughts and the things that I've noticed after using this? Luckily, Cloud Defensive did give me this product pre-release and let me have a prototype. That is this one. And then I have another one back here that we'll discuss in just a second that has a little bit more features than this one has. So the actual lockup itself and the mounting, I do see that it is a little bit easier to install. The other one could be a little bit annoying to do. This one I did find to be a little bit easier. The cable management and routing is a little more simple. There's a little larger spots to do it. The other one was a little bit smaller and harder to get through. So I could see how this one would be a little bit easier to route your cable. And as you can see, my cable is very nicely routed here. There is nothing to snag on. And that is one of the coolest things about these switches is its cable management, is how you're able to run everything through. I want to thank the sponsors of today's video, Brownells. They are a fantastic company and supported me a ton. And honestly, I would not be able to do a lot of this without them. You can use code TA10 to save 10% off orders $150 or more. I highly recommend you take advantage of that because you can use that as much as you want. It's limitless. So go in there, save a bunch of money, and start on some cool builds and projects and finish some or start some new ones. But a huge thank you to Brownells. Go show them some love, and let's get right into the video. So now for the activation and the actual buttons themselves. So that was one of the downsides with their old switches, is they were just those small little circles. The benefit of that being is you had to be a little bit more deliberate when pressing this, so it was a little harder to get an accidental press. But when you wanted to get your light on, sometimes it was a little harder to actually turn your light on. So that was a downside. They made them a little bit larger. They're a different shape. So instead of a little circle, they're a square. They still have these ridges on the side to help prevent an accidental press. And they still aren't the easiest thing to press in the world, which I would rather it be that way. Because when you're using your firearm, I don't want it to just be a light swipe of my finger to turn my light on. Some tape switches, I mean, you just graze that pressure pad and it turns it on, and you don't want that. So I do like that you have to still be deliberate to use it, but it's still a lot easier. There's a larger surface area. It's not too obnoxious. You know, some of them are really long, and if that's your personal preference where you'd rather have it to wherever you grab, you can touch that. These ones, you have to be a little bit more deliberate where you're pressing, and you have to know exactly where your switches are. But as long as you train with your system and you put your foregrip and everything where you want it, my thumb and hand always falls in that same position. And then they have different designs on them. So you have the X and then just the dot. So if it's dark out, you're able to just go off of what you're feeling to know which light switch you're pressing, if you're pressing the constant on or if you're just doing the momentary. So now for the improved durability and waterproofing. I never personally had any issues with the tape switches that I've had in any of those areas. So if they improved it, then that's fantastic. I'd rather it be even better. So I don't know what they improved or what they switched with it. I don't think they used a different polymer. Maybe it's just the design is a little bit more durable than the other one, but they said that it's a little more improved. So that's a good thing, and I can never go wrong when making it more strong unless you're making it giant, which they've reduced the size and they made it stronger, which is a good thing. The lights themselves, Cloud Defensive is up there on the top. It's the light that I trust the most, and I use the most on most of my rifles. So I'm a big fan of Cloud Defensive stuff. I've been a customer of Cloud Defensive basically from the start, since their LCSs. When they just had the light control mounts there where you would put like your Surefire or your Streamlight tape switch in, that is when I started being a customer of Cloud Defensive, and I have been a customer ever since, and I absolutely love their stuff. If you guys would like to purchase any of these sets, make sure you guys use code Tactical Advisor, and that will save you 10% on your order from anything on their website there. So now for pricing, I wasn't able to get an exact number quite yet, but they said it's gonna be very similar to what their tape switches are now, which is around $90. So expect around that $90 price tag if you would like to upgrade your current light. So these will work on your older styles. So I was able to throw these on my other REINs that I have as well. So it's not like it only works on the new light, so you have to buy a whole new light setup. You can just buy the switch if you would like and put it on your current flashlight. So now let's talk about IR capability. This is also a prototype, but be on the lookout. These will be coming out a little bit later. These ones aren't quite ready yet, so the white light ones will be available right now. But if you're looking like, hey, I really would like to have a dual setup here with my IR and my flashlight, don't worry, they're not forgetting about you. They're coming out very soon. I have had some questions about the length of my cable here and how it's so tight. And the reason for that being is it's a prototype. This was just for me to be able to test this pre-release, give them some input on my thoughts on it before they were released. There will be multiple different cable lengths that you can choose from. So when this actually comes into production, I will pick up one with a longer cable. I'll move my flashlight out so I don't get the shadow from the suppressor, and then I will be able to have a lot more length on my cable. It won't be so tight, but I just really wanted to test the setup while I had it, and this was the gun that I was currently testing a lot, so I figured I'd throw it on this one and use this the most. That way I could get the most rounds through the switch. So all in all, what are my thoughts of the new tape switches? I think it is a very nice improvement. I think it's a great upgrade, and I'm really happy to see Cloud Defensive continues to listen and make changes that are good. I'm glad to see they didn't make you wait until they came out with a new style light. They just said, you know what, no, we're gonna upgrade this, and then we can make it compatible here, and then we'll also add the ability to do IR, and we'll do some other things. So it's nice to see that they are continuing to innovate and change and upgrade and improve, and that is always something I look for in a company, is that they are continuing to listen and change the product for the better, opposed to just saying, no, we got a good product and people are buying it, let's just stick with that, because it costs a lot of money for R&D and to, you know, make a new product. Just makes more sense just to keep the product that we have because it keeps selling and we're doing just fine. Some companies out there do that. They've done that for years. You know, there's some companies that are like, you know, it's been a great product, it's the gold standard 7 years ago, so it's just gonna stick that way. But companies like Cloud Defensive that will continue to evolve and change and improve force other companies to have to do the same. And it's a good thing because then it's a competitive thing and they're always trying to fight for the best. And I think personally, Cloud Defensive is one of the best. Hopefully this video is helpful for you to make a decision to see if you would like to pick up one of the new switches, if you just want the switch, or if you just want to buy a whole new light setup and get another REIN. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having more REINs. And again, use that code Tactical Advisor, and that will save you 10% on your order and be able to save you a good chunk of money when ordering these, because they are expensive. That is a downside of these lights. When you're buying quality things, unfortunately, there's a large price tag, and Cloud Defensive REINs are expensive lights. So that is kind of the downside to this whole setup, is you're going to be spending a decent amount of money on it. But if you guys are looking to help out the channel, things I do here, there's a couple ways to do that down in the description. There are some discount codes from companies that I personally trust, and there's some links to my link tree. Anything you purchase using those links does help out the channel, and I really appreciate that. If not, liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, all those things are great as well. A couple companies support me in the things I do here: Brownells, Hold Up Display, and Howitzer. Howitzer donates 5% of proceeds to charity. Wear their clothes all the time. Absolutely love them. Also collaborated with them. If you guys want to buy a Tactical Advisor t-shirt, support the channel, go in the link below and pick one up for yourself. And then Brownells, use code TA10, save 10% off orders on $50 or more. This is basically an entire Brownells build, so you can save a ton of money by building something like this all through Brownells using that discount code. So use it as much as you want. It's limitless, and have some fun. And then Hold Up Display makes the amazing racks behind me. Other than that, guys, thank you so much, and I appreciate you all.